Hey YouTube, Chuck Horn here. Gonna go ahead and do my Sunday ritual, and that's feeding Bossk and Tiamat, my Honduran spiny-tailed iguanas, their super mealworm treat. And while I'm doing that, and hopefully as I'm looking up at you guys and talking a little bit, they don't accidentally nail me. But I want to talk a little bit about how long I've been interested in reptiles and amphibians, and kind of a little commentary on what a kid who grew up in the 80s, obviously I wasn't born in the 80s, but I grew up in the 80s, and that's when I had found my love for reptiles and amphibians, what I had to do to get information if I couldn't find it in a book. So without further ado, you can see Bossk right here. He's wandering to open the door. I'm hungry. So let's start feeding them. Tiamat's up in the corner there. Hopefully she'll come down and participate in the fun. But here we go. So kids nowadays are super lucky with the internet and social media, and all of the forums on Facebook and kinksnake.com, and the wealth of information, YouTube videos from all you guys that are posting stuff about the care of your animals. Back in the day, an example of what I had to do, here's a letter that I wrote. It's November the 12th, 1986. So I'm not going to say how old I was at the time, but I was a teenager. And I wrote it to the Division of Reptiles and Amphibians, National Museum of Natural History. So I found that address, I was interested in something, and basically I was asking about night anoles, Anolis equestris. Hey, dear sir is what I put. I probably should have put sir or ma'am, probably some female herpetologists back then. But just asking about night anoles, and could somebody go to Cuba and study them, and handwritten note, and the guy, the individual, I can't read the handwriting down there, but he replied back to me, dropped it in an envelope, and sent it back to me. So in 1986, I couldn't go to the internet. I couldn't log on to Facebook. I wrote a letter to the National Museum of Natural History to try to get some information. I was kind of successful with that one, so later on, I'm not sure the exact date of this, but I wanted to know a little bit about the Turks and Caicos ground iguana, Cyclura carinata. So I wrote another letter, and gentleman, herpetologist, replied back to me. So back in the day, you want to find out some information, you had to break out the pen and paper, and that's what I did when I was a kid. I was a teenager at the time. Let me go ahead and get Bossk a couple mealworms while I'm talking. And by the way, Mad Balls, this folder, pretty poor condition, but I've had this since the 80s. And this is what I got, all kinds of lithographs, stuff that I photocopied when I went to the library, all about reptiles and amphibians. Let's see here. I had an interesting checklist in here. Oh, here we go. A list of my favorite lizards. That was done on a typewriter. I got an asterisk next to some of them, and down at the bottom it says lizards I wouldn't mind studying. So way back in the day, I thought I wanted to be a zoologist, a biologist, a herpetologist. My life didn't, take that route. I'm very happy with the route that my life took, but I've always loved reptiles and amphibians. I certainly have night anoles up here. I have Tenosaura, which is what the genus Bossk and Tiamat are. They're Tenosaura melanosterna, but I don't have an asterisk next to them, so I didn't want to study them. I just thought they were cool. So anyways, a little bit about that. Let's go ahead and see if we can get Bossk to eat. Come on, dude. They're not used to me running my mouth while I'm feeding them. There we go. All right. Come on out here, buddy. Come on. Come on, Bossk. Come on. They are never this shy. Now, here comes Tiamat. That's what I like. Come on. Come on, Bossk. Come on, Tiamat. There we go. Yeah, they're definitely not used to me running my mouth while I'm feeding them. I'm going to have some mealworms loose in the cage. This book right here, Encyclopedia of Reptiles and Amphibians from TFH Publications, I'm not even sure if they're still in business, but that used to be the folks that did books on pets, fish, aquariums, reptiles, snakes. TFH had a magazine, Tropical Fish Hobbyist, TFH, there you go. The copyright's 1976. So I probably got it when I was 10 or 12 years old, a couple years after 1976. And I was fascinated on page 231 of this black and white image right here of a nightingale. And that image, I fell in love with that species of lizard. And probably since I was about 14 or 15, ever since I've had terrariums, if I had a terrarium anywhere, I had a nightingale in it. So I got a bunch of them that I'll talk about in future videos. But this book right here, you know, I don't want to offend anybody, but this was my Bible. I took this book with me everywhere when I was a kid. I'm going to shut up for a minute and see if I can get these lizards to eat a little bit. So just watch and enjoy. Come on, guys. Come on, boss. This is not working out real good. They don't like me talking. I'm hoping that Tiamat's grab it like I spoke about in my earlier video last weekend. So I want to definitely make sure she gets this. I put Rapashi Calcium Plus is what I coat these super muons with. So it's calcium with vitamin D3, just to make sure she's got what she needs if she is producing eggs. While I'm doing this, I definitely don't want to forget a shout out to Trey Beck and his family. He's given me a shout out, and I've got a couple more subscribers because of it. So thank you very much, Trey. I started watching your who you're going to select as your winner today, and I haven't finished it yet, so I don't know. But I like the three guys who said if they won, they would want a youngster to get it, and I'm the same way. I really don't have any room for any more terrariums, so I don't know if you pulled my name or not. But if you did pull my name, let's go ahead and give it to a budding herpetologist and help somebody else get on the road. All right, I'm freaking them out. I think I got my first reptiles, green anoles, when I was in middle school, or back then it was called junior high school. So 7th and 8th grade was junior high school. And my parents were extremely accommodating. If it wasn't for them, middle school, high school, even up until when I enlisted in the Air Force, they allowed me to have aquariums, terrariums, all throughout the house. So very accommodating parents. Certainly nurtured, my hobby, my love of animals. And of course, I do that with my son. He's got a hedgehog. He's got rabbits, but of course I take care of him more than he does. And Tiamat doesn't seem interested, which could be a good thing, because last year when she got really, really big, she went off feed for quite a while. I don't think she's quite there yet. She's nowhere near as big as she was last year, so. You guys have seen some of my previous videos. These folks are usually all over my lap, so they definitely do not like me talking. It's getting a little warm back here. I have my door shut because my wife's doing her Game of Thrones Season 5 marathon to get ready for tonight's premiere of Season 6, so I didn't want all that racket coming in here. I got my ceiling fan on, but this room does stay a little warm. And I'm dropping worms everywhere. Yeah. Tiamat's closing her eyes as I try to give her some. I think that's going to be about it. Again, I appreciate everybody who subscribed to me, especially after Trey Beck gave me that shout out. If you have any comments on this, if you have any questions for me, I do plan on doing some more videos. I want to be a little bit more informative than just, you know, no sound, no narrative. Going outside my comfort zone a little bit there, but I figure the more I do it, and of course, if I don't like what I see here, I'll just erase it and I'll try again. So hopefully this take is good. Again, I just want to share what I do. I like looking at other videos. I like learning from other videos, and I hope maybe somebody could learn from me. That would be ideal. But until next time, thanks guys.